2 years ago at the Woman of the World Poetry Slam, where she was hanging out with her sister Emmy. Emmy was competing, and Fufu and I were one of the only two people kind of not there to compete, so we were hanging out at a lot of like, oh, you can't come in here because you're not a competitor, so we were just kind of sitting around a lot, and she's just amazing, and I love her so much. So I don't really know what I'm gonna read. Blanket statement for all of my poems for like language and sexual content, and like, yeah, just I'm sorry in advance for any, I don't know, I just was, yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing. Yeah, let's do this poem first. So I'm doing a 30-30, which for those of you who are not poets, a 30-30 in the month of April, because it's National Poetry Month, we try to write 30 poems in 30 days. So I'm in this amazing class with a beautiful poet named I.S. Jones, who was actually supposed to be here tonight, but got waylaid in Texas. So I'm going to do all poems from her 30-30 class, because it's April and that's what we do. So this is a poem called an Ayubad, which I had never heard of before working with I.S. And it's a poem where lovers part at dawn. And to ask a really chronically single night owl to write an Ayubad is kind of really, like, why? I don't know, but I had to because it was the assignment. So so I wrote one for my friend instead because she's in love and I'm not. So this is called Kay's Ayubad. Here is now, and now is not solid. My now is 10:42 on a Tuesday in a Penn Station bathroom, but it is cerulean dawn in Budapest just before spring, and I can hear the heels of my sister's thigh highs down the stone steps, where she texts me how he would not let her go until the first rays of sun lit her way home, and maybe he touched her, I don't know, because I wasn't there, because an ocean is pushing our shoulders. I am not poet enough to talk about how the streetlight hits my sister's hair sometimes, and I'm definitely not poet enough to talk about this man who she loves, how each of his hands is a crane, I mean in the sense that they dance, so they are flying above her head most of the time. I don't know about the color of the light in his eyes that night because I wasn't there, because I am hardly ever there, by which I mean at her side, by which I mean in my skin, anywhere at all except when she texts, and she does text. I know where happiness lives, and the dirty illness part of me tells my limbs, jump in front of the train instead of letting it take you home, because I am not a boy with hands full of crane song. My sister will walk along my favorite bridge drunk in the blue dawn, and I am not there, so why be anywhere at all? I'm not even going home to a waiting dog. No lover of mine ever came with hands. It's turned me into a choked back moan. My only currency to heaven is how I hold space for this love that she has, but built on the other side of the globe. I am so proud of you is the only good use for me. I text it back as I catch the next train and wait for New York's and my morning. So I'm trying to find the poem actually about my dog, because the dog that I mentioned in the bio is actually not with us anymore. Today marks the year anniversary of my dog's death, so I kind of want to read the poem that I wrote for him, and I can't find it, and the Wi-Fi in here is pretty terrible, so, yeah, okay, we're going to do something else instead. Let me think. Phone problems. Yeah, I'm just going to go into my folder, and we're just going to pick the first thing that is up there, because I'm a professional. This is how professionals do it. This is how professionals do it, obviously. So, let's see, what else do I want to do? Okay, this one is the one I want to do. So, this is a poem another poem I wrote for the 30-30, and it's after an amazing poet, Jean Anne Verlee, who, for those of you who don't read poetry, she's your favorite poet's favorite poet, basically. It's like, yeah. So, this is a poem after one of her poems, and it's called Poem to Translate the Poems. The giraffe is how much I hate physical therapy. The cat is how I long for love. The river is my best friend. The bridge with the stone lions is suicide because I can't make her happy. The flock of birds is me coming to terms with my anxiety. The infant buried in the yard is my uselessness. The orchids are how I love each femme. The bathtub is a man I don't know yet, someone I can't admit I want. The pills are God. Blood is how I'm not a woman yet, really. Each berry is a warning. Bruises are a garden. The gun is my wish to have more brothers. The lock, my cunt. A mouth is God. The red tree is how my family never talks, just yells. The lilies are how I sometimes have no hope. The fairies are how I get the hope back. Hair is how I was held down. Spilt wine is all the times I wanted to kill. The redhead is God. The hummingbird, time. The dress is my depression. All the Edward Hopper women are how I'll never get out. Light through glass bottles hanging from a tree is how Jesus still loves me. The wheelchair is a ghost. The crow's my mind. Cocaine is how he once loved me. Snow is the fact that I'll die someday. Blue is how death doesn't scare me. Hands are envy. The violin is cancer. The ocean, God. The hospital is the apocalypse. The apocalypse is the hospital. The plums are my virginity. The lavender field on fire is my mother. Mary Magdalene is my queerness. Marijuana is the person who will one day want me. Purple is all the things that should be alive but aren't. Yellow is all the things that should be dead but aren't. The car is the eventual death of my parents. The moon is just the fucking moon. Bones and skin are both language. The bed, my body. Stones, my body. The fire, my body. Scars are the word of the Lord. So this one is another after poem. It's after another poet, and it's after an amazing, amazing poet named Ricky Laurentiis. Who, yeah, right? Seriously. So I'm reading his book right now, Boy with Thorn, and it's just destroying. I'm just destroyed. Like, I just want to give up. I just can't handle it. It's so good. So this is called How Does a Bird Drown, after Ricky Laurentiis. Yes. Like you, I was born in a flood. It's only that no one saw me coming. I lied, there were never any wings. I was born. That was supposed to be the whole story, but I lived too. Parted my blue, drowned thing lips in a wondering O that became my name. Spoke too young, I lived like a sickness, didn't know that's what I was. They only talked in hush how they wanted me dead. I was small and taking too much. Don't you know that the dead have blue lips too and an axe to grind? Don't you know I never waited? I pulled my dead legs behind me like a mermaid's tail. My arms have reached since the beginning. My skin see-through, tiny veins like gills, myth creature, song thing, eyes and mouth, wide planets, my humor, my voice, and can't you hear how my voice is still a typhoon from the wire they unspooled down my throat? I was born in a panic, as too soon and unexpected as death always is, a stutter, a jumped gun, I mean the hardest choice, body or world, so impatient I was my own fault. So the last one I'm going to do for you is a sex poem. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It might offend some people. I don't really care. Yeah. So this one doesn't have a title yet. If I can't call you friend, then let me call your name jaundiced sky. Nothing you do will ever make your father take off his hands and genuflect, my unembraceable darling. You are in the car with a beautiful boy that you call by my name because mouths are genderless things and he has his lips around your cock. Named me Adam because you love me first. You love like God only so long as I merely ask with my eyes and never my tongue. Call my tongue the new fruit. Call my body both prey and prayer for how your anxious feet push against the earth. My boyfriend has lighthouse strength. When he cannot touch me, we change the math and the map. My new lover has a name built to moan around, all vowel and pulp. You are so much terrible consonants. You are an hour away singing a hymn about me into a champagne bottle while his thumb is running softly up and down against my throat. You're flipping chairs in a bar trying to make the clattering sound like my laughter and my boyfriend is asleep. If my heart is turning into a house, you are on the back porch howling at my moon. Thank you guys so much.